All right, guys, Andrew Gerard here with a really short, quick, easy video today regarding retouching of a shot that you see on my screen here. Let me go full screen so you can see this sucker. And this is a shot I did recently of just a boat on the beach here in Mexico. And I shot it on the X100v. Now, this goes hand in hand with the film recipe called El Gringo that I just released. Thank you to those of you who used it and are having fun with it. This is just a quick Lightroom color adjustment that's an option for all cameras and all editing, but specifically just for El Gringo. So let's get into this. So I wanted to share with you first of all, here is the raw photo. I'll give that a second. Hopefully you can see the detail on the screen. I know sometimes on YouTube it compresses and gets all wonky, but there's focus is right here on the front of the boat. And this is the raw, and this is El Gringo. Now, I'm going to go down here in Lightroom to our, actually let me reset one of these sliders here. Yeah. Let me show you that again, just so you can see the difference. There's the raw, that's El Gringo. And take a look at our histogram up here on the top right as we cycle back between here and here. Of course, when you're shooting raw, you don't want to lose any highlight detail in the clouds. That's why the histogram looks like this. I don't want to push it too much. But with El Gringo, it's fantastic. So here's the adjustments. Way down here in this little sucker, right here, calibration. I think it might be the very last. Yeah, it's the very last module in Lightroom. And I know not a lot of people use this, but I do, and it's fantastic. This is where you can manipulate some of the primary shifts and hues and saturations in your camera. So you don't need to learn all this. I'm just going to show you what to do. In the red primary, come to the hue, and you're going to bump it to the right. Let's say, for argument's sake, say around 15, maybe 20, just for the example of the video. We'll make it a bit more than what I'd usually do. Now, if I turn this off and on, you're going to see that it gives kind of a little bit of a green cast. Look in the sand over here. You can kind of see the before and after, before and after. So that's fine. I'll even do it more just to see the extreme example. There, at 100%, you should definitely be able to see that of what it's doing. Okay, so we don't want it that much, but just for YouTube here, let's bring it up to 20. Now, on the red primary, shifting the hue to the right at plus 20, if we go down to the blue primary, as you can see here is more purpley, and this is the more teal side. If I minus this the same amount around, now it doesn't have to be perfect, but roughly the same, we kind of get back to where we were. Let's go off here and on, off and on. You can see it's just a little warmer. Let's zoom into the boat here. Off, on, off, on. It almost just gives more of a luminous glow, a little bit more depth to the color. Now here's the real trick. You can continue to do this, by the way. This is kind of going to start to look like a lookup table or a LUT. Let's go up to 40 here and then down to 40 here. Now you can see you start to get a really hyper stylized look before and after, before and after. And just for the sake of the video, again, I'm going to leave this over exaggerated. Do this to taste, but the real key comes in the blue primary. Now you might think that cranking the saturation in the blue primary is just going to bring up the blues, but it doesn't. In the calibration, it's going to bring up a lot. So let's go up here and we'll bring it all the way to 100%. And before and after. Now it's way oversaturated, right? Especially here in the sand. See this kind of like yellowy green? We don't want that. So how can we get rid of that without losing all of our punch? Well, first of all, I'm going to bring this back down to something more sensible, like maybe like say 22 here. And I'll do the same with about this. So now that we're here, this is the key to getting this look to be not so oversaturated. The saturation in the green primary, if I bring it all the way down, you can see we get back to almost like not too far off, just a bit of a brighter version of what our original image is, just less saturated. So now bring this up back in and tell you to taste usually about the same amount, somewhere around 20 or 30 here, and this is at 100%, and you should be able to see the difference before, after, before, after. Let me do this full screen as well in regards to the raw so that you can see here the raw before and after. It's got so much punch, so much vibrancy, and have a look up here at the top right at my histogram so you can see nothing's changing. It doesn't actually change the value. It changes how the color is interpreted, which is amazing. It's an amazing tool to have. You can play around the green primer. You're going to get into mucky territory here. Like in this case, if you really want to make the sand more beigey, then you'd go into the green primer, and you could even adjust and pump that up a little bit. So again, this is all to taste, but the idea is upping the red and bringing down the blue are basically canceling each other out, and then you get to boost the saturation in the blue, and you get, like I said, you can play around with the green. Let me go full screen one more time before I end this video. That's the raw file. That's El Gringo with the calibration trick. I hope you like it, and yes, I'm going to crop out this person swimming in my shot. What are you doing there? Where's a shark when you need one? All right, guys, I'll see you next time. This is Andrew Gerard. Bye for now.